I am the last woman object.
I Am the Last Woman Object is the first survey exhibition of work by Nicola L in the UK and Europe, and it brings together work from over 50 years of her practice across sculpture, painting, film, drawing, collage, and performance.
Nicola L was born in 1932 in Morocco and spent many of her early years in the north of Africa. Her father was in the military, and so they moved around quite a lot. She moved to Paris in the 50s, and she had a formal art education there. So she studied at l'École des Beaux-Arts, and when she applied for that course, she changed her name from Nicole to Nicola, in order to give the appearance, I suppose, on the application that she was actually a man and not a woman. And there is this sense of challenging the constraints of gender that run, I think, throughout her work. In the early years of her art practice, she was really focusing on painting, both figurative painting and some larger kind of cosmological compositions which veered into abstraction. And in the 60s, she met Alberto Greco, who was an Argentinian conceptual artist who really challenged her position as an artist. I think he said something along the lines of, how can an artist at this moment in time be making figurative painting? And it was that challenge that really motivated her to transform her practice into what has become one of the defining features of her work, which are the penetrables. So these are works which began really as paintings, but they transformed the site of the painting from a representation into something which can be embodied, that invites people into the territory of the canvas. And they were intended to be activated, and they were on many occasions.
My name is Christophe. I am Nicola's son, and it's fantastic to be in London at the Camden with you to reintroduce Nicola's fur room. We'll explore after all the sides of it, but the fur room is an installation that she created in 1969 for the Biennale. I remember when I was very young, it was different shows, exhibition in Brussels, it went to Antwerp at the ICC, and also it came to Camden, which we realized not long ago, we had no idea, but it came to Camden in '73, part of the soft art exhibit. There's a playfulness of it where the audience, where the visitors are welcome and encouraged to come in and wear the skin or the penetrable, you know, to go inside the characters. Like on the ceiling, difficult, on the walls, but also this one on the floor. There we go. It takes a little bit of thing, but there we are. I remember the installation being a lot of fun. I mean, they were very enthusiastic about it. It was this, you know, obviously this purple, playful toy thing you want to embrace, you want to touch, you want to feel.
So the first penetrable was made in Ibiza, and Nicola was moving between France and Ibiza and became very much part of the kind of countercultural, almost kind of hippie community that was on the island at the time. There's a lovely anecdote about her lying on the beach with Greco and a friend, a poet, a Dutch poet, and the three of them were lying on the beach, and Nicola draws around their bodies. And it's this kind of very sort of primal gesture. It goes back to the kind of very earliest myths of art making and, you know, drawing around the shadow or the outline of the departed lover or friend. And Nicola definitely talked about this being the kind of genesis for this sort of shared skin. And this shared skin idea was something that ran through her practice, both in terms of thinking about issues of equality, and she was very involved politically with a lot of the different kind of moments and movements that were happening across the world at that time. So there was a sense of kind of a shared humanity, but also these ideas, a kind of much more kind of human idea of the skin as a kind of membrane or that point at which we meet the world.
Nicola's work begins with the body, but it's very much a body in the world. And a lot of her themes were informed by the sense of existing within the elements, within the planet, and within the wider cosmos. And a series of her penetrables were actually not designed to be worn and performed. They're much too big, they're like giants or archetypes. And some of these reference other places on the planet, Antarctica, the elements like the atmosphere, or other places in the cosmos, so sun and moon, which we have exhibited here in Gallery 1. And these really speak to a sense in which Nicola was very tuned in to the environment, to ecological concerns. This came through not only in the penetrables, but in a series of drawings that we're exhibiting, and an amazing film that she made in 1995, Sand, Sea, Sky.
A long, long time ago, I was in the ocean. No, I did not exist. Only we were existing.